Today, if it doesn't rain too much, I wanted to talk about my bike history. Started riding when I was 18 rather than 16. Those days, 1980 something or other, you could only ride up to a 125. I chose a Honda H100A. Beautiful little machine it was. It was a wonderful bike that passed my Part 1 on, which is, as far as I'm aware, now the CBT. I also passed my Part 2 on, which was great because all I did, I turned up at the test centre, answered a few questions. The bloke came out, says to me, right, travel around the island this way. Not the island, travel around the test centre this way, to the right. And then he says, travel around to the left, hit your emergency stop. And he was just standing. He wasn't actually doing anything, just standing there. And I thought, oh, this is good. But I could have been doing wheelies and all sorts around the back where he couldn't actually see. So, unless he had some spotters out on the other side, you know, you don't know what was going on. But I passed my Part 1 on my Part 2, so that was fun. Then, from that to my dad's Honda 250 Super Dream. Now, at the time I thought, wow, this is a big heavy bike, much bigger than mine, and that would be great. Well, I was on that for about a year, and I saved up enough money to part X my Honda H100A in for a Yamaha LC RD 350 power valve. My word, that was powerful. But I was being really idiotic. I was doing lots of stupid speeds in all over the place, and I had a little talk with myself, and I said to myself, you have got to get rid of this, otherwise you're going to die. So I decided to get myself a Yamaha XS 250 SE, which wouldn't do 65 miles an hour through what's going on there? Where the hell did he end up there? Wouldn't do 65 miles an hour with a tow from a truck going downhill, you know. And I had that for 2 years, and that brought me back down to earth, because it meant that I got used to the lack of speed and all the other things that you don't really need. All you need to do is remember that you're going out for a ride. That's what you're going for, nothing else. You're just going for a ride. And I had that for several years. Like I said, I think it was 2 years. Then I decided, well, I've learnt my lesson, I can now go up. But I didn't want to go too much, so I went for a 9-month-old, which is the newest bike I ever had. 9-month-old Kawasaki GPZ 305 belt drive. At the time I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful black machine, and I had it customised paintwork. I had, I don't know how many of you remember the 80s and 90s. There's a film called Highlander. Well, I had the Kurgan on mine. Now, I have got photos of most of my bikes, I think. So, if I can remember, I'll put the link in around about here somewhere. Not link, pictures. Or down here, or wherever they'll fit. And so you don't disrupt the ride. But yeah, I went from that the GPZ 305. Now, believe it or not, I still have that GPZ 305. That was 91, I think. Yeah, 91. Now, although I still own it, it has been given to several people over the years, and it all depends. The last person that had it did not look after it. He left it outside to get rusty and rot away and whatever. So afterwards he gave it me back. I said thanks, looked at it and I thought, oh, here we go. But I was lucky that one of my other friends recently, last year, year before, has decided that he wants to start riding. Now, he's an older gentleman, which I'm sure he won't mind me saying. Yeah, slightly older than me. And he passed his CBT, so that's alright. But he wanted a vehicle, and he was holding back because he doesn't have a lot of money, and he was thinking about buying a bike. And I says to him, look, everybody drops their first bike. I said, everybody, without fail, they all drop their first bike. And so I said to him, why don't you have mine at no cost, as long as you do it up, and use that until, you know, you can, you pass your test, you've learnt how to ride properly, and you, so I'm concentrating on the road here, pass your test, you learn to ride properly, and you get through that terrible section of, you know, dropping your bike. Because it's an older bike, you know, it's not to worry. If you drop the bike, you know, you just repair it and carry on. Whereas if you spent something like even a cheap second-hand couple of grand bike, you know, you drop that and you're crying. So he had that, and then I went to the car for well, before he had that, I went to a car for a while because I have a few health issues and it's just easier for me to ride in a car. But the recessions come along and stuff like that, so I ended up back on a bike, and I bought a Triumph 900 Sprint. That was such a nice bike. I went with a work friend to Applecross in Scotland on that. All this is 2007, this was. And we did 526 miles on the way back in 14 hours. And we spent time in various places, you know, an hour here, an hour there, just to help out, just to rest rather, and you know, an hour here, there to rest. And we spent